Hare Krishna. Let us understand Bhagavad Gita as it is, written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. So let us understand these chapters section by section. Before we begin the discussion, let us offer our prayers to our spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we will be understanding the first section of chapter 5. Chapter 5 is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Section 1 is from Shloka number 1 to 6. This section is entitled The Path of Working Devotion and the Path of Renunciation. So let us understand this section. In the previous chapters, Arjuna had surrendered to Krishna. He was thoroughly confused about what to do and what not to do. Arjuna, he surrendered to Krishna as his disciple. And Krishna, he thought the difference between body and soul. Then he thought about the importance of working as a Kshatriya. His duty was to fight without considering the family relationship. And then Krishna also instructed about Buddhi Yoga, working in devotion for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Then in chapter 3, Krishna explained about Karma Yoga and how a person who is fully in divine consciousness, he has no works to perform because he has connected himself with the Supreme Lord and he is eternally busy in serving the Lord only. And in chapter 4, Krishna explained how all sacrifices culminate in transcendental knowledge. And at the end of the 4th chapter, Lord Krishna told Arjuna to get up and fight. So Arjuna was a little perplexed because he thought that renunciation means stopping all works. So Arjuna, he inquires from Lord Krishna. Arjuna says, Arjuna Vacha Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shamsasi yashveyayeta yorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work and then again you recommend work in devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? So Arjuna asked Krishna that among the two, working devotion and renunciation of work, which is beneficial? So let us see what Krishna replies. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha Sanyasa Karma Yogascha Nishveyasa Karavu Bhavu Tayosu Karma Sanyasat Karma Yogo Vishishyate. The Blessed Lord said, the renunciation of work and working devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of works. So here Krishna, he has given his reply to Arjuna that between renunciation of work and work in devotion, Krishna said actually both are good for liberation, but among the two, working in devotion is better than renunciation of work. So why that is so? That is because When we work in devotion, we get connected with the Supreme Lord. We are all parts of Krishna. We have a loving relationship with Krishna, and we will develop our eternal relationship by working in devotion for Krishna. And all the attachments we have towards this material world, material body, bodily relationships, all that will get cleansed away. And we will start experiencing divine pleasure, transcendental pleasure right from the beginning. And once we are fully cleansed of all material dirt, we will situate ourselves in our original constitutional position as an eternal servant of Krishna, and we will eternally engage in devotional activities in the spiritual world. So therefore, working in devotion is better than renunciation of works. On the other hand, there are people who don't know that the Supreme Absolute Truth is a person and we are His servants. They think that God is some impersonal energy, and because of this material body and individuality, they think that we are suffering. So they want to stop all works because they think that by working there are reactions, and to stop all reactions we have to stop all works. So in that way they don't involve in any activities. They sit quietly in some place and do some sort of meditation. Actually, by stopping all works and just sitting in some place, one will not get liberated, because unless we establish our relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna, we cannot go back to the spiritual world. At the most, one can elevate oneself to Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence of the Supreme Lord, but there also the soul cannot live forever happily, because soul is a person and soul wants relationship with the Supreme Lord. Unless we develop our relationship with the Supreme Lord, we will never be happy. Well, even if one elevates and gets liberated and enters into the spiritual effulgence of the Lord, one will again fall back to this material world to perform activities. So therefore, Krishna said that of the two, among working in devotion and renunciation of work, Krishna said working in devotion is better, because it will elevate the soul and awaken its relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Further, Krishna explains, Nyayasa nitya sannyasi yonadveshti na kamshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhatra muchyate. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, liberated from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna. So, a Krishna conscious person, a devotee of Krishna, he acts only for the pleasure of Krishna. Actually, we are all one with God in quality. Krishna is Satchidananda, we are all parts of Krishna. Therefore, we are also Satchidananda. So, we are one in quality. But there is a quantitative difference. Krishna is Vibhu Atma, is unlimited. We are Anu Atma, we are very, very tiny. So, we are simultaneously one with the Supreme and we are different from the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is Purushottama, He is the Supreme Enjoyer. We are all His servants. We are all very tiny, He is infinite. We are all energies of Krishna. He is the energetic, He is the owner of all energies. Therefore, at no point of time, a soul can become the Supreme Lord, because soul is Shakti, God is Shaktiman. So there is no comparison between Jiva Shakti and the Supreme Lord. But still, as His part, we can serve Him, we can connect with Him. So a person who is in true knowledge of the self, he works for Krishna and he knows that everything belongs to the Lord. There is no question of renouncing anything, because nothing belongs to us. Where is the question of renunciation? If nothing belongs to me, what will I renounce? Actually, everything has a relationship with the Supreme. We have to offer everything for the pleasure of Supreme. This is called real renunciation. Just like the materialist, they invent microphone for their own material purposes. But a devotee, he knows how to use a microphone for serving Krishna. He uses the microphone for singing the songs of the Supreme Lord, for talking about Krishna. So, everything can be used for serving Krishna. So in this way, a devotee performs activities, but he is not attached to the results of the activities. He offers the results to the Supreme Lord. So in that way, he is a true renouncer. And on the other hand, the Mayavadis, those who don't believe that God is a person, they hate activities, they're afraid of activities because they think that by acting, they become entangled in this material world and they're afraid of acting. So a devotee is a true renouncer. So further Krishna says, Sankhya yoga prithak bala pravadanti na pandita ekam apyastita samyak vubhayor vindate phalam. Only the ignorant speak of karma yoga and devotional service as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. So in Sankhya Yoga, they analytically study this material world. They study who am I, how we are different from this material world. They try to find the root cause of everything. And they go on separating everything from the true self. So this is called Sankhya. On the other hand, devotional service, those who are devotees, they know the root cause is Krishna and they worship Krishna, serve Krishna in devotional love. Actually, both processes lead to the same goal because analytical study they're finding the root cause, and in devotional service they know the root cause and they serve the Supreme Lord. That means that actually both are searching for the same Supreme Lord. Both the paths lead to the same goal. There is no difference. But those who are ignorant, they say that devotional service is different and Sankhya is different. So Krishna says they are actually less intelligent. Then further Krishna says, Yat Sankhya prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate ekam Sankhyam cha yogam cha yaf pashyati sa pashyati. One who knows that the position reached by the means of renunciation can also be attained by works in devotional service, and who therefore sees that the path of works and the path of renunciation are one, sees things as they are. So among the two, the path of renunciation and path of devotional service, a devotee is engaged in serving the Supreme Lord in various ways. Just like in the temple, the devotees are busy in decorating the deity form of the Lord, offering him various varieties of foodstuffs, conducting festivals, constructing temples. There is so much of activity. So devotional service is more of developing attachment for Krishna and serving Krishna. On the other hand, the path of renunciation is renouncing everything material, giving up material attachment. By gradually giving up material attachment, they will develop their attachment for the Supreme Lord. On the other hand, devotees, they develop their devotional attachment to Krishna from the beginning, and they give up all material attachments automatically. In other words, actually both are the same. One is path of renunciation, renouncing material things. Another is path of attachment to Krishna. That means both are actually the same. Further Krishna says, Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptum mayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena adigacchati. Unless one is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, mere renunciation of activities cannot make one happy. The sages, purified by works of devotion, achieve the Supreme without delay. So as I was explaining, just by doing nothing, one's heart doesn't become purified. Just by knowing that I am spirit soul, I am not this material body, that will not cleanse one's heart. On the other hand, when we engage in devotional activities, because devotional service is transcendental, beyond material world, beyond this material energy. So when we engage in works of devotion, our hearts become completely cleansed and we become liberated from this material world. That's the effect of devotional service. So therefore, just dry renunciation alone cannot bring any perfection in this world. On the other hand, under the guidance of expert spiritual master, if we engage in devotional activities, beginning with chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, hearing about Krishna, hearing Bhagavad Gita, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, engaging in various devotional activities. This will help us develop our love for Krishna, and as a side effect, it will also cleanse our heart. It gives detachment to this material world, detachment to material relationships. Anything which is unfavorable for Krishna, a devotee, automatically he gives it up. So in this way, the path of devotion is better than dry renunciation. So next what happens, we will understand in the next section. Hare Krishna.